Florida today we have 5 million of immigrant descents who are documented living in our state, which is my case, and only 900 people who are undocumented. And we also know that our state has having an increased participation of Latino voters in the last election and strong Latino support to the conservative agenda. So my big question is, how can we create bridges between our local policies and our national government if we are considering that we are trying to avoid the marginalization of people who are American citizens but have a Latino heritage? And with that, I want to talk about two events that I attended this year already. One was the town hall organized by Representative Snyder discussing the proposed copycat bill for Arizona, of Arizona to Florida. And in that town hall, we had 30 people speaking against it, and only 7 speaking in favor of the legislation. And also, I participated in a Senate hearing in Tallahassee last Monday. And in that hearing, we were 37 people, I think, speaking against the legislation, and only 2 speaking in favor of it. So we do have a strong opposition in Florida, considering this 5 million of people documented who are who believe that Latinos issues are American issues and vice versa. So how can we create policies that we are not segregating our community and we are not marginalizing American citizens under the guise of immigration reform?
Well, I think the most important thing you brought up is the aspect of legal immigration. And if we continue to support illegal immigration, it's a slap in your face for doing the right thing. So, you know.
But how do we separate what is legal and what is illegal if our policies is, for example, the draft of bill that Representative Snyder is bringing to Florida House clearly states that Canadians and European descent individuals should not show their identification. So I feel myself pressed into the need to show identification. And I'm talking as a scholar here, right? As a person who is very aware of the history of legislation of our country, and a person who is studying this, and a person who respects our country dearly, but also as a person who has an accent.
But I think that if you're here from any country, you have to show some, proof of either citizenship, driver's license, or identification.
So how do we deal then with the situation that we are not offering documentation to people who want to, because there is no alternative? I have met so many people, for example, El Sol. We know that here in academia, that's the good thing, that we are in contact in a lot of events, that we get data. So we are also analyzing numbers. And we know that Jim Kuretski did a study, and most of the funding for education in Jupiter comes from undocumented immigrants. So I would be glad to share it with your office, this study.
So most of the funding here in Jupiter comes from undocumented immigrants?
For education, we do have a very, the relationship between the undocumented immigrants, that means not directly tax paying, although I do know cases, because we do have the tax ID now, right? And the tax ID, individuals can pay taxes
if you're here illegally, you can't have a tax ID number. You don't have a social security number.
They do have, no, not social security. Social security,
no. You don't have a tax ID number if you're here illegally.
I understand that individuals can have a tax ID number in order to report any activity that they have in the country earning money. And I do understand that individuals from El Sol, they are contributing, and there is this study. So my big question is just that I don't want to create, a big reaction here. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page, that we are considering both sides, and we are not disregarding the 5 million of Latino heritage people who live in Florida and who wants to support our government.
Well, but see, this is the thing, okay? It ain't about Latino heritage.
Thank you.
My wife was originally a green card holder from Jamaica. And even when the Olympics are on, she always still cheers for the daggum Jamaican track team. But she is now an American citizen. And if you ask her where is her, true heart allegiance, it's to this country, and it's to its principles and to its values. And I think that if we continue to balkanize ourselves, which is what I kind of hear you talking about, then we lose the essence of who we are in America. I talked about, there is a definitive American culture. Does not mean that you eradicate your heritage, but it does mean that you respect this American culture. And the thing is, we can't just open up in this country and say, you don't have to respect our borders. You don't have to respect our laws. Just come here and we will accommodate you and give you whatever.
But we need to secure our borders. I do
That's right.
think that security is an issue that everybody understands. We just don't want to criminalize people who are here like me. And it's not that I'm disrespecting the American heritage.
You're here legally, right?
But I came here one day, right? And the process takes several years.
Did you come here legally?
I was never here undocumented, but how do you measure what is here legally and what is here illegally? It's
1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. I don't want to take other people's time, but what I just want to say is that I understand that your wife respects American heritage, as I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm not here talking about whatever the country I was born or whatever the country I was raised until a certain age. As a matter of fact, my whole family lives here and they're taxpayers from day one. And I am a taxpayer since I became an independent. I just want to make sure that people are not dismissed by their accents.
Nobody is dismissed. The only people that are dismissed for their accents are Southerners.